everyone. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos and I feel like it's long overdue. So I've got a few items to talk about today. The first thing that I want to talk about is clocking in and out from a client's phone and why it's important. There's been one or two of you guys that we won't mention any names, but that are become accustomed to clocking in and out with your cell phone, which one creates problems on the back end. Our schedulers have to go in and match it to the appropriate client. But then two, the biggest thing that could happen is if a client disputes the time that you were actually there. It's much harder for them to dispute it if you're clocking in and out using their phone, obviously, because you are in their home when you're clocking in and out. So just know that it is a senior care policy that you clock in and out with the client's phone in their home or the client's cell phone. If for some reason the client has low minutes on their cell phone, things like that, we have a way to work around that. But it does need to be authorized through Sue in order to make that work for everybody. So just as a general rule, clock in as soon as you get there with the client's home phone, clock out as soon as you leave with the client's home phone. You'll avoid a lot of issues. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is talking about owning shift coverage. I think the title says a lot there, but with summer coming, already being here, it's almost 80, 90 degrees now, so people want vacations, things like that. Just so everyone's aware, if you're a new hire, haven't been with us for very long, or if you don't remember from the orientation, it is the employee's responsibility to make sure they have coverage for their shift. Sometimes there is emergencies where you're on your way, you get a flat tire, you get sick. The office, that's what the schedulers are here to help you with. But as far as vacations and trying to plan time off, we assist you is the key word there in finding coverage. Most of the time what will happen is if you request time off, you'll call into the office. You'll probably already know the other people that are working with that client, and you'll probably call and see if any of them can pick up your hours. A lot of caregivers now are just switching hours. So, if you'll take this for me, I'll take that for you. But you're still owning your shift and coordinating those schedules with the office so that they can make those changes on the back end. Makes everything a lot easier. It's not as simple as just calling up and saying, hey, I'm not coming into work next Friday. Know that if you're on the schedule, you need to own that shift. So if you have further questions about that, the schedulers, Trevor, Jake, Sue, myself, we can talk to you further about those things, but just make sure you're owning those shifts, as we're taking care of a vulnerable portion of the population. A lot of times if someone doesn't show up, it's a serious thing and it could be considered neglect in a lot of situations. So please make sure that if you're not able to make a shift, that you're notifying the office, working with other caregivers, things like that. So, okay, next thing is time off requests. Time off requests are not a guarantee. It must be discussed with the scheduling coordinator at least 2 weeks in advance. There's been a few situations where people wait until the last minute to maybe announce that they're going on a vacation. Those requests can be denied. Just so that everybody's on the same page, the sooner you can get in your request, or the further in advance, the more likely it is that those requests will be honored. A lot of times the last minute stuff are very difficult when everybody's working a lot of hours, or they're working the same hours that you're working with a certain client and can't switch around. So just know that time off requests are not a guarantee, and it must be discussed with the scheduling coordinator at least 2 weeks in advance so that they can make proper scheduling changes. Again, we do understand that there are situations where you get sick, have to go to the hospital, things like that. You can provide a doctor's note, that's fine, we'll work with you. But for anything that can be planned, please submit those time off requests as far in advance as you can so that we have time to approve those and work with you on finding coverage. Okay, the next thing, certifications and expirations. This one's a fun one. These are very critical as we're constantly being audited by the Department of Health. We have to keep your certifications and documents up to date. If the schedulers send you an email with a list of things that need to be turned in, turn it in that same week. Don't wait 2 or 3 weeks. We need to get it done within the next couple of days. We get those reminders as soon as they're expired, and if you know something's expired or you've changed your car insurance, for example, go ahead and just take a picture with your cell phone, send us a copy of it so we can upload it into your file. Again, the major things are going to be your car insurance, any of your certifications if they've expired and you get new ones. Trying to think here, any of your other documents that you use for the I-9, if you have a passport that's expiring or something like that, driver's license that expires, things like that nature. Make sure you're sending it updated, and we will, let you know when those are coming up. But just be responsive to those requests. I would really appreciate it. So thanks. Just as a general reminder, company policies and procedures need to be followed at all times. If you're ever wondering how to handle a situation, please call us and let us know. You can always talk to Sue. You can talk to me. If it's an HR related matter or if it's with clients, we can help you know the best course of action. One thing that I do want to remind everyone of is finances. Don't take clients' PIN numbers. Don't take their keys to their home. Personal information out of the home. That should never, ever leave the home or leave the client. You are dealing with people that sometimes aren't mentally able or physically able to do a lot of things for themselves, and so please be sensitive and mindful of the information that's given to you, as much of it can be sensitive to the client. So another leg off of that is your personal contact information. Don't give your clients your personal cell phone, your personal address. We've had situations where clients call our caregivers late at night, things like that. It creates undue stress on you, and it's not needed. We have 24-hour on-call here at the office. They can always call the office, and the office can coordinate with you if there's an emergency shift or something that needs to happen, so that clients aren't calling you just to gab at night, or if there's something that does come up that needs attention, they're calling the office and not you. So please don't let clients have your personal contact information. Last thing on that, all schedule changes need to be handled through the office only. I think it's great if you talk to your clients, figure out what they want, and then call the office and say, here's what the client wants, and the office can help you make that happen. Where we run into trouble is if the office isn't involved in the schedules. It messes up your payroll, it messes up your billing, and so making sure that all of the information that the client's communicating to you is being communicated from the client to us or from you to us, so that we have all the correct scheduling information in the office. We try our best to make sure we have consistent ongoing schedule with clients, but as you've probably experienced, sometimes clients change their minds, want different days, different times. That's great. That's not a problem. Just make sure those schedule changes are being handled through the office and being communicated with one of the schedulers. Okay, so that's all the reminders. I wanted to read a quick story that I thought was touching and made me think twice about what we're doing for people. A New York taxi driver wrote the following: I arrived at the address and honked the horn. Waiting after a few minutes, I honked again. Since this was going to be my last ride of my shift, I thought about just driving away. But instead, I put my car in park and walked up to the door and knocked. Just a minute, answered a frail elderly voice. I could hear something being dragged across the floor. After a long pause, the door opened and a small woman in her 90s stood before me. She was wearing a pink dress and a pillbox hat with the veil pinned on it, like somebody out of a 1940s movie. By her side, there was a small neon suitcase. The apartment looked as if no one had lived there in years. All of the furniture was covered with sheets. There were no clocks on the walls, no knickknacks, no utensils on the counters. In the corner was a cardboard box filled with photos and glassware. "Would you like me to carry that bag out to your car?" He said. I took the suitcase to the cab and returned to assist the woman. She took my arm and walked slowly toward the curb. She kept thanking me for my kindness. "It's nothing," I told her. "I just try to treat my passengers the way I would want my mother to be treated." "Oh, you're such a good boy," she said. When we got to the cab, she gave me the address and then asked, "Could you drive me through downtown?" "It's not the shortest way," I answered quickly. "Oh, I don't mind," she said. "I'm in no hurry. I'm on my way to a hospice." I looked in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were glistening. "I don't have any family left," she continued in a soft voice. "The doctor says I don't have very long." I quietly reached over and shut off the meter. "What route would you like me to take?" I asked. For the next 2 hours we drove through the city. She showed me the building where she had once worked as an elevator operator. We drove through the neighborhood where she and her husband had lived when they were newlyweds. She had me pull up in front of a furniture warehouse that had once been a ballroom where she had gone dancing as a girl. Sometimes she'd ask me to slow in front of a particular building or corner and would sit staring into the darkness, saying nothing. As the first hint of sun was creasing the horizon, she suddenly said, "I'm tired, let's go now." We drove in silence to the address she had given me. It was a low building, like a small convalescent home with a driveway that passed under a portico. Two orderlies came out of the cab as soon as we pulled up. They were solicitous and intent, watching her every move. They must have been expecting her. I opened the trunk and took her small suitcase to the door. The woman was already seated in the wheelchair. "How much do I owe you?" she asked, reaching into her purse. "Nothing," I said. "You have to make a living," she answered. "There are other passengers," I responded. Almost without thinking, I bent over and gave her a hug. She held onto me tightly. "You gave an old woman a little moment of joy," she said. "Thank you." I squeezed her hand and then walked into the dim morning light. Behind me, the door shut. It was the sound of the closing of a life. I didn't pick up any more passengers that shift. I drove aimlessly, lost in thought, for the rest of the day. I could hardly talk. What if the woman had gotten an angry driver, or one who was impatient to end his shift? What if I had refused to take the run, or had honked once and then driven away? On a quick review, I don't think that I have done anything more important in my life. We've conditioned to think that our lives revolve around great moments, but great moments often catch us unaware, beautifully wrapped in what others may consider a small one. I think that's a great example, a great story that can be related very well to what we're doing for our seniors, our clients, our disabled people that we take care of in their homes. Are we the angry caregiver? Are we the impatient caregiver that are just looking to hurry and finish our shift? If we are, I think we need to reevaluate that, because it's the small things in life that are the big things that make the big difference. Like the last sentence, it's the great moments that often catch us unaware, beautifully wrapped in what others may consider a small thing. But I'm a firm believer that it's the small things in life that make up what's most important. Please continue to do the amazing job you're doing with your clients. It shows. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to Sue, to Jake, to Trevor, to everyone in the office, to Hutch. We couldn't continue to bring on clients without your love, compassion, reliability, and excellent care you provide for people. And so I appreciate you guys stepping up and helping out with these clients. And as always, please call us if you ever have any questions here at the office. And again, I appreciate every one of you. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again. Bye.